At my boyfriend's sister's wedding, he locked me in the car for 2 hours and introduced me as his coworker after seeing his ex as a bridesmaid. I was trapped in the car for 2 interminable hours, a prisoner to my own helplessness, on what was supposed to be a joyous occasion, the wedding of my boyfriend's sister. My family doesn't need to see your pitiful face and distasteful dress, were the words that echoed in my ears as Alex, my boyfriend of 8 months, locked me in and took my phone. I had saved for 2 months for the perfect wedding gift, a contribution to their dream honeymoon in Japan. But today it seemed my efforts were nothing more than dust in the wind. Let's rewind to the twist of fate that brought us together. I was at an art exhibition, a night filled with the promise of creativity and innovation, sponsored by Alex's company. The night took a dramatic turn when a thunderstorm plunged us into darkness, and in that chaos, Alex collided with my world. He guided me to the light, and we talked for hours, our connection sparking under the emergency lights. He said my illuminated face was the most beautiful sight he'd ever seen. It was a line straight out of a romance novel, and I was hooked. Fast forward to his sister Monica's wedding, a day that revealed the sham of our relationship. I had never met his family, a red flag I conveniently ignored. His excuses were as hollow as they were frequent. But today I would finally meet them, dressed in a tasteful dusty rose midi dress, adorned with silver flowers, a nod to our fateful encounter. I accessorized with the silver necklace Alex gifted me for our 6-month milestone, and the carefully curated wedding gift, a sum of $1,500 in Japanese yen, and a certificate for a traditional tea ceremony in Kyoto, presented in a hand-painted wooden box. Alex picked me up, his nerves palpable. As we approached the venue, he started making disparaging remarks about my attire. "Is that what you're wearing? Don't you think it's a bit much? My family is kind of traditional." I was anxious but confident in my choice. Upon arrival, he made his move. "I need you to wait in the car." I laughed, thinking it a joke, but his stern expression told me otherwise. "They're particular and I need to prepare them," he justified, snatching my phone and leaving me stranded. I sat in disbelief, the June heat searing through the car. My makeup ran, my dress wrinkled, and my heart shattered. 2 hours passed in a daze. Finally, Alex returned, unlocking the car as if nothing had happened. "They're ready to meet you now," he said, oblivious to the turmoil inside me. I followed, a mixture of shock and confusion clouding my judgment. In the reception tent, twinkling lights and laughter filled the air. Alex introduced me as just a friend from work, reducing our relationship to nothing. The winks and giggles exchanged between him and the bridesmaid were the final nails in the coffin. I smiled politely, maintaining composure for Monica and Stanley's sake. The morning after, I had my phone back, and Alex dropped me off, oblivious to the turmoil. I turned away from his attempted kiss, and he seemed not to notice. The wedding gift I had saved for sat unacknowledged, its origin shrouded in silence. Now, as I grapple with the aftermath, I'm torn between confronting Alex and ghosting him entirely. I consider reaching out to Monica to reveal the truth. My thoughts are a whirlwind, and it's clear our relationship has crumbled in the most heartbreaking way possible. Note, this is the continuation of a story where I detail the aftermath of a wedding disaster and the steps I took to reclaim my dignity. It's been a whirlwind of emotions since my last post, and I can't thank you enough for all the support and kind words that have poured in. Your messages have been a lifeline, and reading them was like finding a beacon in the darkest of nights. Now, I need to bring you up to speed on the latest developments in this saga. Day 4. The realization I spent the day after the wedding disaster pretending to be unwell, hiding from the world while I processed the events that had unfolded. I was haunted by the image of the wedding gift I had sacrificed so much for, sitting unnoticed in Monica and Stanley's home. The gift that represented not just money, but hours of research and a month's worth of ramen lunches. I'm not wealthy by any means. I'm a content writer scraping by month to month. Yet, I had hoped that this generous gesture would win Raoul's family over. How naive I had been. Day 5. The confrontation. Raoul showed up at my apartment unannounced, oblivious to the turmoil he had caused. His casual dismissal of my feelings and his blatant disrespect for our relationship sparked a fire within me. His excuse for the wedding fiasco? His ex was there and he didn't want to appear less than with me by his side. His words cut deeper than he'll ever know. "You're cute, but you're not exactly country club material." I saw him for what he truly was, a man trapped in his own delusions of grandeur. Day 6-8. The retribution. With a newfound clarity, I plotted my next move. I would not let Raoul's betrayal go unanswered. I learned of a family dinner, the perfect opportunity to set the record straight. I withdrew another $1,500, booked the same tea ceremony experience, and purchased a new box. It wasn't about the money. It was about making things right. Day 9. The truth revealed. I lured Raoul to a coffee shop with the promise of a discussion, knowing full well that I had other plans. His smugness dissolved when I revealed my intentions. I stood my ground, and with the recreated gift in hand, I made my way to Raoul's parents' home. Pounded as I knocked on the door, ready to face whatever awaited me. Raoul's mother opened the door, and after a moment of confusion, she invited me in. I found Monica and handed her the gift, introducing myself not as a coworker, but as Nadia, the woman who had been wronged by Raoul. The look on her face as she realized the truth was priceless. This post is already quite lengthy, and I must attend to a more pressing matter. Raoul is currently at my door, demanding entry. I promise to update you all soon on how this unfolds. Edit. Raoul has left, but not without leaving a trail of text messages that would put a novel to shame. The fallout has begun, but I am more determined than ever. Wow. I couldn't believe the outpouring of support. I'm still reeling from the events that unfolded yesterday. I left off with the revelation that I was about to confront Raul's family with the truth. Here's what happened next. The unveiling, I found myself in Raul's parents' living room, sitting across from Monica. With a deep breath, I revealed my true identity. I recounted the 8 months of dating Raul, the betrayal at her wedding, and the theft of my phone. Monica's expression shifted from confusion to shock and then to a chilling realization. No, that can't be right. Raul wouldn't do that, she protested. Until I mentioned the original wedding gift, a gift Raul had claimed as his own. Her eyes widened, and I knew I had her attention. The Japan Fund gift with the tea ceremony, that was from you? She asked, a tremor in her voice. I nodded, explaining how I had saved for 2 months to create it. I showed her the photos on my phone, evidence of my dedication. I did the research. I found the tea ceremony. I even contacted a calligrapher to write your names in Japanese characters for the certificate. Monica examined the recreated gift box in her hands, her voice breaking as she recounted Raul's fabricated story. I knew something was off with that gift, Stanley interjected, his anger palpable. Raul has never shown any interest in our Japan plans before. The front door slammed open, and Raul burst in, out of breath. He froze when he saw me, the gift box between us. What the hell are you doing here? He demanded, as if I were the intruder. Monica stood up, her voice resolute. Is it true? Did you lock your girlfriend in the car during our wedding? The room fell silent, the tension palpable, as if I were the intruder. Mrs. Alvarez emerged from the kitchen. Mr. Alvarez muted the TV. Raul tried to laugh it off, but his denials fell flat. She's not my girlfriend, he insisted, but his words rang hollow. I pulled out my phone, prepared for this moment. I had our text history, photos of us together, the reservation for our weekend trip to the beach, the birthday card he gave me. I was wearing the silver necklace he gave me for our 6-month anniversary in almost every photo, including at the wedding. Monica's face hardened as she scrolled through the evidence. She handed the phone to her mother, whose distress grew with each swipe. Explain this, Raul, Monica demanded. Raul's excuses fell on deaf ears. His family's disgust was evident, Mrs. Alvarez covering her mouth when he called me crazy. Monica cut him off mid-excuse. What about the gift, the Japan Fund, and the tea ceremony? Raul faltered, his lies crumbling. We got it together. It was my idea, but she helped. Stanley scoffed audibly. Dude, just stop lying. Mr. Alvarez's voice cut through the chaos. Raul, did you lock this young woman in your car during your sister's wedding? Raul's defenses crumbled, and he slumped in defeat. It wasn't like that. Gina was there, and I didn't want— His voice trailed off, realizing the futility of his excuses. The silence in the room was deafening. Mrs. Alvarez broke it, walking over to me, taking my hands and apologizing for her son's behavior. I started crying, which set off a chain reaction of tears among Monica and Mrs. Alvarez. Mr. Alvarez spoke to Raul in Spanish, his tone dripping with disappointment and disgust. Raul became defensive, pointing at me as if I were the villain. Mr. Alvarez stood up and told him quietly but firmly that he needed to leave. Not tonight. Not in his house. Raul looked genuinely shocked, asking if they were kicking him out because of me. Monica stepped between them and clarified it wasn't because of me, but because of what he had done. Feeling like I should leave, Mrs. Alvarez gently touched my arm. Please stay for dinner, she said. We would like to get to know the real you. I stayed for dinner with Raul's family, without Raul. It was awkward at first, but also kind of amazing. Monica and Stanley were lovely people. They were excited about the tea ceremony experience and kept asking me questions about how I found it. Mr. and Mrs. Alvarez were warm and welcoming once the initial shock wore off. Raul texted me nonstop throughout dinner. I turned my phone off. After dinner, Monica hugged me and thanked me for having the courage to come forward. She said she'd been noticing changes in Raul over the past year, more secretive, more arrogant, but hadn't wanted to believe her brother could be so cruel. I got home around 10 p.m. to find 27 missed calls and 41 text messages from Raul. The text started angry, then panicky, then pleading, and finally defeated. They won't let me come home. This morning, I woke up to a voicemail from an unknown number. It was Gina, the bridesmaid ex-girlfriend. She apologized for her part in the wedding situation. She had no idea Raul had a girlfriend and felt horrible about the winking and flirting. According to her, Raul showed up at the train station after she refused to let him stay. He's been sending her dramatic selfies from the station bench all night, not responding to anyone right now. I need to process all of this. Monica has invited me for coffee next week. She says she wants to properly thank me for the gift and to compare notes about her brother. Think I'll go. As for Raul, karma has arrived at the station. Literally. I'll update one last time after things settle down a bit. Edit. OMG, stop asking me for Raul's station selfies. I don't have them. Gina just mentioned them in her voicemail. And no, I haven't responded to any of his messages yet. It's been 2 weeks since my last update, a period that's seen the dust from my relationship explosion finally settle. The 41 voicemails I mentioned earlier, I've listened to each one, and they're a masterclass in manipulation at every turn. Voicemails 1-5. Rage to victimhood. Raul's initial voicemails were filled with pure rage, hurling insults and threatening retribution. But as the sequence unfolded, he switched to the victim phase, crying and sobbing about his family's betrayal and the harsh realities of spending a night at the train station. Voicemails 13-20. Revisionist history and bargaining. The subsequent messages attempted to rewrite history, portraying our relationship as the highlight of his life and the car incident as a dire misunderstanding. These were followed by bargaining attempts, promising to make amends and pay me back for the wedding gift. Voicemails 3141. Desperation, the final string of messages was filled with desperation and more tears, culminating in a silent message filled with only breathing and occasional sniffles. Throughout, I chose not to respond, instead focusing on my coffee meetup with Monica. In a casual setting, we discovered a wealth of shared interests beyond her brother's deceptions. Our 3-hour conversation revealed the family's aftermath. Raul, once the golden child, was effectively cut off, not just financially, but also emotionally. His attempts to spin a narrative about my instability fell on deaf ears, and the wedding gift incident had become a family legend. Monica shared how Raul's parents had never seen irrefutable proof of his true character until my confrontation. The realization was devastating for them, a stark contrast to Raul's previous image. Meanwhile, Gina, the bridesmaid and ex-girlfriend, and I have been texting. She was fed a completely different story by Raul during the wedding, painting me as a boundary-violating coworker who invited herself. She now feels terrible about the entire event. Personal reflections and resolutions for me, this ordeal has brought a sense of freedom, like escaping a relationship that would have slowly crushed me. A package from Monica and Stanley, a beautiful handmade journal with an encouraging note, brought me to tears. Raul's last-ditch attempts to save face had been met with silence from me. He stopped calling recently, and through Monica, I learned he's spreading tales of our breakup due to my neediness. Updates on practical matters. Wedding gift. Monica and Stanley insisted on reimbursing me for both gifts. We compromised with them covering half, and I'll join them for the tea ceremony in Kyoto next spring as their guest. Finances. The double gift situation did deplete my savings, but extra freelance work should have me back on track in a few months. It was worth it for the satisfaction of confronting Raul. Living situation. I've changed my locks and installed a security camera, just to be safe. There's been no sign of Raul trying to visit, thankfully. Dating a break. My heart needs time to heal. Final thoughts and moving forward last night. I sat on my balcony with my new journal, reflecting on the events. Sometimes we cling to the image of someone long after the reality has changed. Relationships can be like that, holding on to an idea that's already gone. I'm not rushing into any new ones just yet. Instead, I'm focusing on myself, appreciating the strength and awareness I've gained, and knowing that even in overwhelming situations, there's always a way forward. Edit. This truly is my final up. The distance between Raul and me is peaceful, and I intend to keep it that way. His random texts have been met with silence. I'm content with the progress I've made, and I'm looking forward, not back.